The conversation is still on Caesarean section. Now we're moving it into another level because we have our guest live in the studio. We have Dr. Amadu in the building. And yes, she is a friend of the house. She is a gynecologist. And this morning she'll be talking on Caesarean section. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Always so good to see you. Always so beautiful as well, I have to say.
It's always good to be here too. Thank you
for having. Thank you for coming on the show this morning.
It's my pleasure.
Why is it that there is always there's so much we don't know when it has to do with childbirth, when it has to do with cesarean section, when it has to do with pregnancy and everything? It's like it's inside a bucket. We don't know. Like we're just trying to uncover so many things and we realize that, oh, okay, this is about this and everything. Why?
The reason is because most people take it for granted. People believe that the lady conceives, so she just conceives and then she has the pregnancy and she's supposed to go straight into delivery, because people do not want to actually deal with the terms of the fact that there's so much science and so much going on with pregnancy. But I think in recent times, people are coming to the awareness, unlike in the old age, whereby people never bothered about, the pregnancy. Okay, so the woman is pregnant and then she gets to deliver. So there's so much myth and so much superstition surrounding it.
Okay, so what are some of the medical indications for a C-section? So what are some of the reasons why a doctor will look at a woman and say, okay, this complication is happening, we need to have a C-section? So what forms of complications can result in a decision for a C-section?
There's so many complications that could arise. One, if the baby's head is too big, if the woman has a breached birth, that's the baby's coming with a leg, or the baby is coming out with the shoulders, that means the baby has actually distended instead of putting the head. Let me just put it in a layman's language. Instead of putting the head downwards, the baby's shoulders, the baby wants to come out with the shoulder from the cervix.
So that's sideways.
Yes, or through the side or through the leg. So then it's dangerous for the mother too. That's the second reason. Another reason would be because the mother has health issues. For a woman that has very high blood pressure, we cannot risk having her go through a normal delivery because she could go into a heart attack or a stroke. And for a woman that has other complications like diabetes, osteoporosis, most of the time it has to do with the mother's health first. Right. Then also the doctor can also consider a C-section if the woman has genital herpes. I think there was a time we talked about sexually transmitted diseases.
Yes.
Yes. So if the woman has such infections and it's going to affect the genital herpes, is going to affect the mother, then it's going to affect the baby. Then the doctor has to take that into consideration. Also, if the baby is very large, macrosomic, a macrosomic baby cannot be delivered ordinarily. So the mother has to be assisted. Those are just some of the reasons and medical indications for CS. Okay,
so now C-section is an alternative to giving birth naturally. But then can it be planned? I mean, you've talked about why people go into it, because of the medical health the health implications that it might have on the mother and then the child also. But can it be planned? Can you say, what, I really do not want to go through natural birth and everything because I can see that people go through labor and it's a whole lot. How about I just plan it, do C-section and get on with my life?
Yeah, funny enough, unlike in the olden times, now in the computer age, you have more women that actually come out to even tell you right from the day of conception, look, doctor, I'm going for a C-section. I don't want to go through the pains. So most women have found an alternative, just like technology. Technology makes everything easy. Yeah. So you find out that most women just come and tell you, I don't want to I don't want to go through the labor pains. I don't want to even know what the labor pains. I don't want to feel it. So please, doctor, schedule me for a CS. Right from maybe 2 or 3 days or 4 days from when they discover that they've conceived. So we do have that, and most women take it as an alternative to ease themselves and not to go through the pain of delivery. So it is, and then for some others too, they find it as, should I say, apart from the easy lifestyle, they find it as a more convenient way of living their life.
Yeah, is it a bad thing?
Yeah. Before we went on live, I was asking it seems to me, and we actually said this, we brought this up before, our guest joined us, that it seems now that cesarean section seems to be more of a lifestyle choice than an emergency decision. And it seems to me that's because of the role science and technology is playing. Do you come across that a lot in your field with women actually based on a lifestyle choice, not emergency decisions?
Yes, more often than not. We do come across that a lot. As a matter of fact, we even have more women with decisions of, there are so many, there's a vertical Caesarean, there's the horizontal Caesarean section. That's the incision that we actually make, both on the abdomen and on the uterus. So you even have women that come to tell you that, look, I want a laser, which leaves little or no mark or scar, and then those that, And we even have people that make so much choices, like, I want this particular room, I want this particular facility, so many, tips and bits, additions, just to make the process much more easier. So it's more of a lifestyle now. So even we have ladies that will actually tell you even before they get married, I'm not going through labor. And so it's common.
Yeah, what kind of things inform these kind of lifestyle choices? I really want to know. Does maybe sex have a role to play in the decision? Maybe the stretching of the vagina? What kind of things do you think, what kind of decisions, inform the CS decision?
Well, most of the females that come in, they tell you that I don't want to, like you said rightly, sex has to do with it. Most of them come in to say, look, I've gone through a lot of sexual intercourse. I don't want to stress my vagina. I don't want to have a tear. Some women stem from most of the time till I've been told that they have to be like 5 centimeters up to 7 centimeters. I don't want to wear myself out. Then I have to go for maybe vaginal tightening or vaginal surgery. So more that actually comes from me. Then other women most of the time feel the stress and the strain. Most of them, we have the back pain that's usually associated with deliveries, and then there's also the postpartum trauma that most women go through, during the process. That is like, most women will tell you, I went to heaven and came back, I've never felt that kind of pain before. So it keeps recurring in some of them. So psychologically, some women are just not prepared for it. And so are some of the reasons that affect such
So is cesarean section a bad thing? Because now, before we had you on the show, I was telling Ade that I had a conversation with other women, and then, when I mentioned cesarean section, the first thing that came out of it, I will never make anybody go through this, that it is okay for people to do childbirth, and it's a taboo, it's abominable, and all of that. And then I thought to myself that, okay, so is it a bad thing? I thought it was an alternative. I thought it was an option that, okay, so in case I have health conditions, or in case I do not really want to go through pain or go through all of the stress or tears and whatnot, I can go with this. But then is it bad?
No. A C-section isn't bad at all. But like we said, it has to do with the myths and the superstitions and the confusions around it. Older women in less developed countries, I have to say this, I'm sorry, but I have to say this, in less developed countries, haven't actually had all the knowledge they actually require. And so those that actually feel that it's a bad thing are actually misinformed about it. They are actually misinformed about it. So that is why they actually repel or consider it as a taboo. In the olden days, people felt that a woman just comes in, and then some midwives just come over, they just rub in some herbs, and then she delivers. But we have also found out that even in those times, yes, we're told our mothers gave birth to 12 and 15 and 36, and there was no C-section and all that. Yeah, but the lifestyle then too was different. But the health was different. We didn't have all the junks and the McDonald's and everything, and some of the lifestyles, all the industries, and all the chemicals all over there. So things were different then, and they lived according to their lifestyle. And well, people did die out of maternal delivery. So we have that too. So the misconception is grossly misinterpreted. C-section, it's okay, it's an alternative. I don't want to take tea, I can have coffee. I don't want to eat rice, I can have the brown rice. I don't want the white sugar, I can take the brown sugar. So it's just side by side. And I think for most people that actually think that it's a bad thing, they need to also consider the option that some women actually cannot deliver, and it doesn't make them less of a woman, because that's always the thought that if a woman cannot give birth by herself, then she's less of a woman. And the fact that the lady has a CS doesn't mean that things can go back to normal.
Yeah. Okay. So, given everything that you've said, the way you've spoken about CS in this particular light, let's talk about some of the side effects that can result after a cesarean section. Are there side effects, and what are these side effects that mothers would need to be aware of when they're making a decision to do a C-section?
Well, there are side effects, no, not so common, but there are side effects. We have hemorrhage, complications can arise, we have blood clotting, we have infections, we have, if the baby is not properly attended to because of, in terms of taking care of the mother, the baby may also be lost, in the process. So these are just some of the side effects.
Are they common? Are they quite recurrent, or?
They are not recurrent, but at least about 40%.
Okay.
Yes, the side effects do come in, yes.
Okay.
And then also, most of the time, the side effect that is most common is the loosening of the sutures, because most of the time after the surgicals, the women oftentimes want to get back immediately to their feet, and then you have the sutures coming off, and the stitches, and then you have an infection, the site may be septic, and then complications arise from there, or the women will get to go and carry everything. So they just want to get back to normal life. Meanwhile, they need to wait for a while to actually recover. So most of complications actually arise from there. They're not supposed to take their bath, or to wash that site, and most of them just go ahead. Even when they have been told, they say, okay, I can just clean it a little, I can just, just rub it a little. Yes, that side is to be cleaned, but not with the normal bathing. So those are where complications arise from. Then maybe the women are not supposed to take some solid food, and this one I want to get back, to it, and then before you know what's happening, we have so many complications and all that. So.
Okay.
So talking about the recovery time, is there a time limit to when a woman can now go back to the things that they're meant to do? You were saying something about taking birth, eating, exercising, and doing the regular activities that they used to. How long does it take for recovery?
In whole, the woman recovers, after the surgery, yes, 2 or 3 days fine, but as a whole, she needs about 4 to 6 weeks to fully recover herself.
Okay,
Yeah,
4 to 6 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, is there a limit on? Is there a limit to how many C-sections a woman can have, given this recovery time and whatnot?
Well, doctors always advise that a woman can go to the length of 6.
Okay.
Yeah, 6. If you look at the abdomen, look at the upper, lower side, the 2 sides, then vertical sides.
Okay.
Yes. So a woman can go as many as 6.
Okay.
But doctors advise a minimum of 3.
Okay, because there are going to be lots of cuts that are made on the abdomen.
But like I said before, medical science is so advanced now that women can even go up to 6. Some even stretch it. But from 6, the doctor begins to tell you that it is dangerous. You shouldn't stretch it far. But because of the laser, science, technology now, most women even go as far as 7, 8. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So can you have cesarean section and vaginal birth side by side? That is, you've had cesarean section before, and then you want to give birth, and you realize that, okay, so I don't want to do this. Let me just go ahead and have my baby the natural way. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is possible. We have had many women, many ladies that have actually had vaginal births after the CS. Even some, maybe the first would be through the CS, and the second would be through the vagina, and some maybe 3 or 4 afterwards. And then they decide, okay, I think I'm ready for this. They begin to exercise, they begin to, prep themselves up, and at the end of the day, they do have a vaginal birth. We call it the VBAC, vaginal birth after CS.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called the VBAC.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about consent very quickly. So before we had you on, Omobolade and I were talking about consent. As in case of a C-section that has to be done in form of in an emergency. Who gives the consent for the C-section? Is it the wife or is it the husband? Whose consent carries more weight? Because, I would imagine that it's an emergency situation. The woman is in pain. For instance, a situation where the woman wants a C-section, but the husband, because of maybe religious or cultural, traditional beliefs, does not want a C-section. Who gives consent in this kind of situation?
First and foremost, it's always the husband.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always the husband. the husband, because when the woman comes in, she signs her antenatal card, it's a family card. The hospital is going to ask you questions. So you're pregnant, how many babies have you had? You married? So probably if the lady is not married, then she would definitely give the consent for that. And then if she's coming with somebody, maybe the mother and all that, so there may be witnesses to sign also, but basically it's the father.
So it's only, so I just want to clarify, it's only if when she's married, if it's a single mother, she doesn't require, she can give the consent.
Yes,
but
yes,
if she's married, the consent has to be the husband.
Yes, the husband.
Interesting.
But we also have cases whereby some of the men actually refuse to sign because of, like you rightly said, because of their religious beliefs, and or just like when we take the case of blood transfusion, we have a certain sect of people that they don't believe in blood. They believe that it's life, you're taking somebody else's life. So when we have such cases and we have to deal with it, so if the person, that's the head of the house that's supposed to sign, or the father isn't signing and the daughter is there, so the mother can go ahead and do sign it. And then when the mother too has the same belief, the daughter can go ahead and sign it. It's the same thing with women that come in for fibroid as well. So a woman comes in, I have a fibroid and I need to take it out, and the husband is not there. She signs the consent form. So if she's coming in with the husband would sign it, and she would also do her own part as well.
Okay, so let's just go back very quickly to why it is the husband that has the final say on this particular conversation. So, I mean, I'm going through pain, and probably the doctor advises that, okay, so we should go through, do a cesarean section because of probably a health condition or whatnot. And the man says no, but the woman is going through a lot at the moment. Why is it the one that's having the final say?
Not the final say. The woman can actually go ahead and sign it.
All right.
So it has to be a decision between the woman and the hospital.
Okay.
Even the mother can sign it. We've had cases whereby when the mother comes in and she's like, I'm going through this, and the doctor has seen that she's actually in such a condition, and she's like, I want my father to sign it. The husband is not around. The husband traveled, and they're like, okay, bring somebody else to sign it. And like, I want my father to sign it. And the father is taking a long time, and the father is a pilot. So, I mean, the doctor has to go ahead. And like, okay, so is there somebody else that can sign? Okay, they're on their way. Okay, while they're on their way, this is a consent form. Do you agree to it? But most of the time, because of hospital policies, there are cases whereby some people come in, like, we actually don't get the facts about them. An 18-year-old girl comes in, or 18, okay, it is a major. A 16-year-old girl comes in, and she's pregnant, and she tells you, I want to have a CS. Maybe she's like 6 months or 7 months. You begin to wonder, is this actually a CS or an abortion? So because of that, you need to have what there's something called a prognosis. You need to know the history of the family.
Okay.
When it's not an adult, so you need to know the history. Then if it's an adult too, you need to know that it's actually by consent, because we have cases whereby the wife comes in for a CS, and then the husband wants to come and sue the hospital. No, the child is mine. Yeah, the DNA has confirmed that I've been here before. So why would you do this to my wife afterwards? But that is where I remember when I was on Super Screen TV once, I did an interview that doctors don't reveal third-party secrets.
Okay.
Yeah, so even if the husband is coming without the wife, the doctor cannot tell the wife that, look, your wife has asked for a CS. So we have women that even come in for CS without informing their husbands.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
Without even informing their husband. The husband is like, you're going to go through a normal delivery, and the wife is like, Mr. Man, you're kidding.
So is the husband in its full rights to sue a hospital, given that the wife has given her consent, though?
The husband could try, but definitely wouldn't succeed because the consent came from the wife. But we have had cases like that.
It's very interesting.
Okay.
So we also have cases too. It's a vice versa too. We also have cases whereby, whereby the husband will say, look, I've had maybe, especially we have some men, I even have some close people very close to me that they tell me, I don't even want, I remember a case, where a man was being told, you have to bring about 500,000. And he said, I've had so many women, I have had so many friends that have died from childbirth. I don't want my wife to go through it. And immediately just registered her.
For a C-section.
Yes, while she was like maybe up to 3-4 months. So it wasn't even up to the time, Yeah, so we have men like that, and they don't even tell their wives. So some of the women don't even know. We're just like, okay, it's almost close to my EDD, okay, maybe a week or 2 weeks before the time, my husband says I should go into the hospital. Okay, let me just go in, and before they know what's happening, then, oh, I've given birth. And yes.
It's good to see that moment and now being more aware and you know, about the C-section. Actually,
I really like the conversation on consent or whatever, because you know, it's eye-opening. So about EDD, that's the expected due date, the delivery date. Yeah. Now, how does it work? I know they say something about 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, but how does it work?
Well, 9 months, 2 weeks plus 2 weeks after. So basically, the doctor, from the scan results, we're able to get the amniotic fluid, we're able to get signs as advanced, so we're able to get the expected date that the baby would mature. Okay. So those dates, that's exactly that the doctor will give to you. It could be 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. We've had women whereby it's even up to 10 months, you know, some 42 weeks, 46, and 48 weeks, you know. So that's all about the delivery date, but it doesn't exactly mean that's going to be exactly on the date. And most of the time, it's often not on that date. It could be a week before, it could be 2 weeks after, it could even be 3 weeks after, or even a month after, you know, and then that's when the agitation comes in, which is not normal. So that's just it.
Okay, to wrap up the interview, I think let us just send a final note, your final words on cesarean section, in form of maybe an advice to, you know, mothers out there, couples out there who are not sure whether C-section is right for them or not. So let's just have your final words on cesarean section.
Well, to all the mothers out there and to the fathers out there, I would advise, and I would tell every woman that is pregnant, or of course hoping, even the singles, C-section, it's a good thing if you know that you need it. And how do you know that you need it? You know that you need it when your doctor tells you the ways, the ups and downs, weighs the options for you. It's about your baby's health, it's about your life, and it's about how you live afterwards. So it's not a thing of force for you to be so adamant to say, I want to have a normal delivery, when you can actually opt for a CS. But then again, if you can go for a normal delivery and you're healthy, your baby is healthy, please do go for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
so much for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure.
All right, we just had Dr. Mary Amadu talk to us on cesarean section and understanding cesarean section and childbirth. It is important that you know that it's a conversation you can have with your partner and your doctor. If they say that this is what you should do, ask them why. I feel like a lot of times people do not ask questions.
That is it.
They don't ask questions.
Most people don't ask the questions. Yes, they just have once you just say CS, oh, they just like scream and, you know, go out of the way. But those that are enlightened, actually, they're more open to it. And I have to say this, that the cesarean section has actually saved more lives and has actually reduced mortality, maternal mortality. It has reduced it drastically, and it has also saved the lives of a lot of babies. Babies that ordinarily wouldn't have survived have actually survived. You know, babies that are no longer developing in the fetus, in the womb. You know, the fetus are no longer developing, have actually been able to survive through CS.
Wow. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.